Hi and welcome to the demo video of our product DrRadiCalc. In this video we will look at what this app is about, how to use it and what are the benefits of this product. Managing patient data and calculating monthly prices according to hundreds of different procedures and their combinations can be a challenging task and can take up hours and hours of time. Our app lets you upload, process, generate custom settings and then calculates prices instantly after only one-time setup. If that one-time setup is too complicated, feel free to email us and we will get it running. In this section, we are going to look at how to use these features. First of all, like any other website, you will sign up using your email address and a password. You will receive a verification email and then you can go ahead and log into your dashboard. Here you will see multiple buttons in top menu. The credits are used when you run a file for processing. Each rupee adds 1 credit which you can easily purchase right here. For the demo purpose, we will be looking at the fully functioning radiology section. Similar method can also be applied to others such as pathology, and more will be added as suggestions are given by our users. As you can see, radiology has 3 sections. Let's look at the start processing part first. Here you can see there are 3 inputs: CSV file, config file and price file. The first CSV file is what you will have as an input, which will contain patient data. You will most likely receive this file from your patient management softwares such as Nandico for radiology. It looks something like this. I have removed any identifying features of patients, hospitals and doctors from this dataset to ensure privacy. The other 2 files, config file and price file, are generated using these 2 sections. Usually, you will only need to do it once unless you change prices later down the line. Let's take a look at config file first. Here, first you choose the CSV file that you will be using later so that app can find columns properly. Once you select CSV file, you will fill up modalities that you use. Radiology will have CT, MRI, CECT, PCMR, CXR, etc. Now, you have to select the study name column. This is the most important column. This contains what procedure was done on the patient, based on which the price is calculated. Next is modality column, which will contain modalities that we mentioned here. Sometimes CECT and PCMR are considered as a part of CT and MR in patient management softwares, in which case you can include CECT, PCMR, etc. in study name itself, as you can see here, so that they will be captured perfectly while calculating the prices. Next few entries are self-explanatory. When it comes to radiology, there are 2 main pricing factors over the base price. One is whether it is contrast study and second is whether it is done during routine hours or emergency time. Here you can choose if you want to add certain amount if the study was done using contrast. If selected, make sure to fill up the contrast amount as shown. Basically, you mention the contrast name, then make a simple formula that takes base price and whatever amount you want to add. As shown here, CECT is equal to CT plus 100, which means the price of CECT abdomen will be 100 higher than normal CT abdomen. You can also keep them same by entering CECT is equal to CT plus 0. The next input is related to each sub-procedure in cases where patient has gone through multiple procedures in single entry. For example, if patient went through CECT abdomen thorax, do you want to add the extra 100 of contrast once or do you want to add it twice, as there were 2 procedures in one. When it is marked, it will be added for every sub-procedure. For setting up emergency-related details, similar to contrast, we mention the amount directly, as shown here. For example, CT is equal to 100, MR is equal to 150, etc. After that, you have to fill the emergency hours in 24-hour format. So, for 8:30 in the evening, it would be 20 hours and 30 minutes, while 7 am in the morning would be 7 and 0. This would mean that after 8:30 in the evening till 7 in the next morning will be considered emergency time. Next is whether you want to consider all Sundays as emergency day or not, and whether you want to add the emergency amount for each sub-study or not, just like we discussed in contrast patient with abdomen and thorax in single entry. The last two entries are related to prices that we set in price file. It is basically stating whether you want to use the full price as listed in that price file, or do you want to only take certain percentage of that amount as the base price. This is optional. Make sure to download this config file and save it locally. Now the next part is pricing section. This part may take some time depending on how many types of modalities and procedures you normally do. This part can be done manually or by using CSV files to load procedures and modalities automatically. Let's look at the manual part first. You will scroll down to the bottom in this section where you can enter type of modality, procedure, and price. After that, you simply press enter and it will be added in the list. Once all such procedures are done, make sure to download the price file and save it locally. While doing this, make sure not to add two procedures in single entry, like abdomen thorax in one. Keep them separated and let the application add up later according to the settings in config file that we created earlier. Now to make this section simpler and easier, at the top part, you can load an existing CSV file with wide range of procedures. After that, you add all the modalities that are being used in the CSV file, then select study name and modality column just like before. If you want to update an existing price file, then make sure to load it here as well and then press start. You will see that it started populating fields below, for which you will write down the price and press enter. If you have loaded the old price file, then it will cross-check and skip those procedures that already exist within it and only prompt for new ones. Again, while doing this, make sure to not add procedures which has two entries in one. Another thing to keep in mind while doing this is contrast studies. In this example, you will see that the next entry is CECT as modality and abdomen as procedure detected directly from CSV file. If we already set the contrast calculations in config file, then make sure you don't add this here as it will be handled by config file. But for some reason, if the CECT price are not uniformly higher than normal CT, then go ahead and add all CECT entries and make sure to uncheck the add certain amount for contrast part in config section. After this is done, make sure to download the price file. Both the price and config files can be loaded back and edited as and when required. Now that we have all the files that we need, let's start processing them. First, select your CSV file. Now select config file. Now price file and press upload. In few seconds, it will be done. The downloaded zip file contains main CSV file with all patients and then separated folders for doctor, hospital or centers and doctor-hospital combinations in case that is needed. Once file is successfully ran, credits are utilized according to the cost. So, for radiology, current cost is 0.5 credit per patient. That means 866 patients cost 433 credits. The main plus point of using DrRadiCalc is the time that it saves. Suppose each patient entry takes roughly around 15 seconds to calculate total prices, as you would have to manually figure out emergency time, contrast pricing and combination studies and then sum it all up. These 866 entries would take you around 4 to 5 hours of non-stop focus, which DrRadiCalc can do in few seconds. These 4 to 5 hours of your time could be used to look at another 10 to 15 patients easily, which would overall save time and money as users. If you have any queries, suggestions or want to take a demo, feel free to email us.